What's the first thing most people think of, probably, when you say meditation or mindfulness meditation?
I would picture someone in the lotus position.
Right. Sitting with their legs crossed.
Right,
and,
eyes closed.
Right. But what we're realizing now, and what this experience with our daughter really brought home for us, is that mindfulness meditation, mindfulness as a practice, is something active.
We were preparing to take our daughter to a dentist appointment. Our daughter, who is very young, has always been very sensitive about going.
Right.
So we had an appointment this last week, and a week before that, I started to look at the calendar, and I got the reminders, and we're going.
Yeah.
And I started to feel myself getting nervous, anticipating every possible horrible thing that could happen.
Right.
This time I said, let me try something different, because me getting worked up, I knew in my head that that wasn't going to help anything. So the few days leading up to it, I practiced noticing the feelings of worry and pictures and imagination in my mind, and just letting it go.
Yeah, all the things that we were worried about for our daughter.
Right. We worry for other people.
Right.
But what good does that do, you know? And it's natural. We all do it. But anyway, back to this dentist thing. So it turns out that I was able to stay really calm. And even the day of, I didn't worry about it at all. The calendar would let me know we're going. I'd notice it. I'd let it pass. So what ended up happening is she threw up on me before we went. But the difference is that she was experiencing what she was experiencing without my extra junk piled on top of it. So what this did was this put us in a position to help her in the moment.
Right.
And some of the things we did, you know, JA will always say, is anything bad happening right now? And she's able to say no. Then we focused on one thing at a time. Let's put your socks on.
Right.
Let's put your shoes on. Do you want to bring Monkey? We got Monkey. We got in the car, and before we knew it, we're there, reminding her the whole way of what she's doing in the moment, and we had an amazing experience.
That's right. And she actually ended up, she even said she had a good time at the dentist. So sometimes we even, part of keeping her focused is bringing up the past.
Right.
And we remind her that in this moment, what's your memory of the dentist?
Right.
And she'll say she got a toy there or she had fun. So even going back into the past can help bring us to the moment.
I noticed that if I kept letting these feelings of nervousness and anxiety about this visit, if I let them consume me, which I have done in the past, then that only hurts the situation, because then if she is upset, so am I. And I'm already pre-worked up. So when she gets worked up, I'm really not any help to anybody, and I tend to make it worse. And we've done videos on energy before, and it only exacerbates the problem.
Right. Now, for those of you who either listen to the podcast or have watched these videos, you've probably heard me talk about the first meditation instruction that I got decades ago from one of my teachers, and it was this. So you pick a spot on the floor or the wall or the ceiling if you're laying down, and you make that spot the focus of your life. And then, of course, as you're breathing, if any thought comes to distract you from either the process of your breathing or that spot on the wall or whatever, what do? You simply notice it and
you let it pass.
Let it pass. Now, when people think about mindfulness meditation, and that's really what that was. I didn't know this decades ago, but that was my first introduction to mindfulness meditation. What's the first thing most people think of, probably, when you say meditation or mindfulness meditation?
I would picture someone in the lotus position.
Right. Sitting with their legs crossed.
Right,
and,
eyes closed.
Right. But what we're realizing now, and what this experience with our daughter really brought home for us, is that mindfulness meditation, mindfulness as a practice, is something active. So what we're talking about here, and to use our daughter as an example, is so when you noticed that you were having a feeling of anxiety on her behalf, or you were fearing the dentist on her behalf, you said you did what?
I noticed it, and I let it pass.
Right. And then you continue on with your day.
Right.
And that has a really good effect. It doesn't magnify the situation.
Right.
what it does is it keeps us calm so that our daughter can experience it authentically.
Right, and so can we. So another good example of this is, say you have somebody that you work with and you have a meeting with them. So you get really anxious about it, and I know this isn't going to go well, and I know what this guy's going to do, or I know what this girl's going to say, and I know how I'm going to feel. And then, they're in your shower with you, they're eating breakfast with you,
right.
they're like
They're
with
right
you.
there in your mind all the time.
And you don't give them a chance. So by doing this, in this scenario, you would get up, you'd enjoy your breakfast. They pop into your head, notice it, let it pass. Enjoy your music on the way to work. Enjoy settling in for the day with your cup of coffee or tea or water. And then you walk into that meeting, and they may be horrible. They may do exactly what you expect them to do, but then you've experienced it authentically, and
right.
they might surprise you.
Right. Right.
It might be an amazing meeting. I mean, I know that I've had that situation where, it's going to be terrible, this person, it's going to be awful, there's going to be yelling, and then it turns out it's like a great afternoon or a great experience or a wonderful meeting.
Right.
So you're basically allowing yourself to experience a person or an event authentically by not dwelling on these thoughts that are coming into your head about how horrible it's going to be.
Right. One of the reasons that meditation and mindfulness are such important practices is we don't come to the world like a mirror.
Right.
A mirror hangs on the wall and it waits for an experience to happen.
Right.
And then it reflects that experience. But humans don't do that. We bring all of our filters and our past and our expectations to an event. So when we're in a meeting with someone who might be difficult, we don't give them a chance to simply show who they are.
Right.
And we don't give ourselves a chance to be calm or peaceful in that situation. So really, if you can turn this mindfulness idea, get the idea out of your head that this is just for sitting quietly in a meditative position.
Right.
This is active. This is the practice of active mindfulness.
Right.
So,
and as J.A. always says, it starts off intentional, and you discipline yourself, and you really use it as much as you can when times are good and when
Right.
times are bad.
Right.
And then it gets less hard.
Right.
So it's not easy to be mindful every moment, but eventually it softens and it becomes habit.
that's right.
So there are two things in this situation. If you've got an event coming up or someone that you're meeting with, there are two things that you can do.
Notice. Really, the essence of mindfulness is noticing what's happening in the present moment without judgment, right? So when you feel that anxiety welling up in you, when you feel those thoughts, if you're taking a shower and suddenly that person's in there with you in your head, notice that that's happening and then learn to let it go. So that's really the practice of be mindful, okay?
And then the second part, and the thing that helped me leading up to the dentist appointment, was to say a mantra. And sometimes when you think of mantra, it's this long, elaborate thing. It doesn't have to be.
Right.
My mantra was stop, be open.
Right.
That was it. And that's what I told myself to reset my thought pattern. And it was effective. And it changed too. So some days it was stop, be open.
Right.
Other days it was let this happen for itself. Let our daughter have this experience. Whatever it was that just shifted my thought pattern. So come up with something.
That's right. Look, things happen. Meetings happen. People happen. Stress happens. But remember, it's all about learning to manage and control the situation by learning to manage and control yourself.
Right.
Okay? So remember, through your day, be mindful, say a mantra. And I really think that this is something that can help you. It's helped us.
It's helped us a ton in many, many different ways.
And like anything else in life, you've got to keep practicing.
And have a little fun.
When I look at the world through my eyes, I always think I'm seeing it clearly like in a mirror. But am I really?
No,
What am I seeing?
I don't know.